Thanks to the support as a channel member, Wayne Roberts. Folks, remember how disappointed I was when I couldn't sign Donnarumma in January, but thought, you know what? He's probably going to go to a bigger club. Well, last night in my stream save, I was managing Peterborough in the Championship after we got promoted. Leicester, by the way, got relegated, and I noticed this had happened. Are you kidding me? So, hold on. In my save on YouTube, I couldn't sign Donnarumma because I couldn't afford him. Because he wanted £200,000 a week. In this version, where Leicester got relegated, Donnarumma has come to play for them in the Championship on half of what he wants me to pay him. What the hell's gone on here? And to make matters worse, he still won't even discuss terms with me in this save. Hello and welcome to part 8 of my FM21 beta save with Leicester. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have the second leg of our Europa League, I want to say quarterfinal. I haven't played the save since Friday. Europa League quarter-final against Atalanta, and we've also got Sheffield United away in the Premier League. Since you were last with me, as you can see, we've continued on a rather lovely consecutive victories run, beating Burnley, Everton, West Ham and Aston Villa all in the Premier League, leaving us in a very nice-looking third place in the league as it stands at the moment, with 8 games still to play. Arsenal are there with 2 games in hand on us. Very much chasing, but we do have a game in hand over Chelsea, which could end up being significant. Also significant is that we went away to Atalanta in the first leg of the quarterfinal and beat them 1-0, thanks to a goal from Ikone. As you can see, we absolutely robbed them. If we're looking at the XG, 1.44 for them, 0.75 for us. But we don't care. We got the win. That's mega important, and that's where we're going to be picking things up. In today's video, we've got the home leg, which we're going to do right now. And this is the team we're putting out there for the home leg against Atalanta. We've got Schmeichel in goal, because Donnarumma won't sign for us. We've got Schmeichel in goal, a back four of Emerson, Evans, Soyuncu and Castagna, and Didi at the base of the midfield, Tielemans and Maddison ahead of him, and then a front 3 of Origi, Edouard and Ikone. Let's get into the game. Let's hopefully continue this long winning run that we've had going for a little while in all competitions now. Let's keep this going and book ourselves a spot in the semi-final of the Europa League. We're gonna pump those fists. Love pumping the fists. Give the fists a little pump. Get the match up and running. But while we do that, lots of people have been asking how I've got the touchline tablet set up the way it is. I think I've mentioned it in a video already. I've certainly mentioned it on stream. But just to recap again, firstly, to get the 3 columns on the touchline tablet, you have to be either on a 1080p or more resolution. So if you're on a laptop, it will sometimes be smaller than a 1080p resolution. If you are on a laptop or don't have the 1080p resolution, if you go into the preferences of the game and just drop your zoom down to 95%, you'll probably get the 3rd column in rather than the 2 columns that you start off with. And then once you've got the 3 columns, if you just come down to this little drop down here and drop your player squad out of the way, it then splits each of the 3 columns, so you then have 6 of these areas to play with, which gives you much more match day information that you can display on your screen. So drop your zoom down a little bit, lose the players at the bottom, and you get loads more information on this screen. One thing I am a little bit worried about is whether we have the curse of closing the game in FM21, which I'm superstitious old me. It's always been a thing that I've considered in previous versions of FM. And as I mentioned before, I haven't played the save since Friday morning. I sat there Thursday night, Friday morning, stacking up videos to get me through the weekend so I could have a little bit of time off. It's now Monday morning, so I've not opened this save other than opening it up on stream last night to see if we could sign Donnarumma. I've not opened the save up since Friday, so that run of form that we were in, the game might be punishing us for not opening the game for 2 days. Fingers crossed it won't be the case, but if ever there was a game where it could punish us, it's a game against a team who lots of people have pointed out down in the comments are probably a better team than us, Atalanta, who we did mug in that first leg. But it was a Kone who was chief of the mugging in the first leg, grabbing the goal at their place. And he's the one who's opened the scoring in the home leg as well. It's 1-0 to Leicester on the night, 2-0 on aggregate. As a few people have pointed out, for some reason, they don't show aggregate scores in-game now, but we know we won the first leg 1-0, so we know it's 2-0 on aggregate, and that's an 11th goal of the season for Akone. I don't know if there's a plan to bring aggregate scores back onto this screen for the full version of the game. It does seem to be something that is missing that could potentially be there, although I don't know, when you watch knockout games on the telly, do they have the aggregate score? I think sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. I could kind of understand it not being there in game, but at least maybe a reminder at half time would be handy. But to be fair, I think most of us probably know what the score from the first leg is when we go into a second leg, but it just still seems wrong that it's not there. Right, we want to do a pointed finger, and don't let your performance levels drop. I'm trying to drag myself away from always just following the assistant manager's recommendation, because although it's nice that we get a recommendation, it does sometimes go against what I'd normally do. And in a situation like this, I would never have congratulated my players beforehand because it encourages complacency. At 1-0 up, 2-0 up on aggregate against a good team, it's always going to be, right, stay focused, don't mess up. So that's what we're doing. And hopefully I get proven right, not my assistant manager, who hasn't really put too much of a foot wrong all season. Sayunchu plays it across to Ndidi, who's dropped back into that little pocket of space as the holding midfielder, and Castagna now, who, as mentioned, Leicester got relegated in my stream save. Castagna's part of the mass exodus leaving Leicester upon their relegation. Castagna ended up at Barcelona. I think Ndidi went to Juventus. Maddison has just put us 2-0 up, although I think the referee's disallowing it. Are we going over to the VAR? I think we are. We're checking, and this pretty much means it's disallowed. I've not had a goal review that's been given. Yeah. It was always like this in FM20, and as I think it might be the case again in FM21. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments if you've had a goal review that ended up with the goal standing, but I've certainly not had one yet, and it does, for me, kind of negate any purpose of having the goal review in if they're always disallowed, because what's the point? Just disallow it. Don't waste my time with the animation, which admittedly is a prettier animation than one we had before. But if it's meaningless, let's just whip it out of there. Let's not have VAR in for the sake of having VAR if it doesn't actually change anything. Right, Edouard playing it back to Akone to Tielemans and Ndidi, Maddison knocking the ball around nicely in midfield. Origi now. Origi back to Ndidi. We've got Emerson in lots of space, and Ndidi finds him, and Emerson is going to be looking to get a crossover here. He does deliver the cross. It finds Tielemans, Akone, Maddison, and this time it's not getting disallowed. There's no question of offside. It's a very similar finish from a very similar position. There's been calls all season from the comments section to play James Maddison on the left wing. I've played him as a Mezzala in central midfield all year, and there's his 14th goal of the season. That boy's a Mezzala, boys and girls. Don't be wasting him out on the left wing. He is such an important player for us in central midfield. 14 goals now for us, 2-0 on the night, 3-0 on aggregate, and I think we're just about as close to being able to claim we're through to the semi-final as we can get. Emerson now with the throw, a flick on from Origi, it falls to Castagna, who has the shot, and it's high and wide and wild, and he really probably should have done a little bit better with it. That would have put the game beyond doubt, but we'll, like I said, I think we're probably just about there anyway. But let's have a look at the bench. Once again, Edouard not turned up because he's not happy. Oh, I don't want to click on my set piece takers, which now isn't loading either. What have I done here? So it has gone to set piece takers. That's not what I want. I wanted to open up that. I just want to swap them over. Get Barnes out wide, get Origi up front, and then we're going to get Justin on at left back just for freshening things up. Really, we're playing a lot of games. The games are coming thick and fast now, and we need to make sure that we are not breaking our players. And I'm looking at the fitness levels, and Maddison is shattered as well. So we probably need to take Maddison off. He's done his business for today. We've got Aouar on the bench, which is a nice substitution to be able to make with 15 minutes to go in a game. Bring on a player of that calibre. Castagna now with the cross, but it's a poor one, and Atalanta really, if they're getting back into the game, have got to score from this move, I think. 15 minutes remaining. They need 4 goals. No, 3 goals, because we only scored 1 away goal. They need 3 goals. They ain't getting them because they missed the opportunity there, but they certainly could have got close if they'd have got in the game there, but they've just showed no ambition today. 3 shots, only 1 on target, only a 0.19 on their XG. It just seems, despite losing the first leg at their place after dominating the game, rather than coming here and trying to assert themselves on the game again and play positively, they've come in to defend, which just seems like a really poor piece of tactics from their manager there, because they had to come here and win the game. They've come in and defended and not done it very well. That's a beautiful tackle there from our Tielemans to Ikone. It's back to Tielemans again, who, rather than picking his usual beautiful pass, has just lumped it forward just to get it out of our penalty area, and I'm on board with it. And we've got 45 seconds remaining and we're in the semi-final, and Aouar looking for the ball over the top for Origi to chase, but can't quite get there. The ball's just pinging around back and forth between the respective defences now. And again, I'm absolutely comfortable with that, because if that's happening, Atalanta aren't getting control of the ball and aren't doing anything with it. So happy days for us. The ball is in. They're going to score here. It doesn't matter because there's 12 seconds left. I think the ref's disallowing it anyway. Are we going back over to VAR again? We are. Watch this one be given just to prove me wrong. And it is, of course, because it's via VAR, it is disallowed, because they always are. Right, that's it now. We're getting the final whistle. Schmeichel to Ndidi. He should have just kicked it long, because then the whistle goes. Castagna, and he's actually given the ball away, but then the whistle does... I thought the whistle had gone. But it's actually... Oh, no, it's... I thought it had glitched forward to another highlight. It's actually showing the replay again of the disallowed goal after the full-time whistle has gone. None of it really matters, because we won the game. Huzzah! And... yeah, who have we got? I forget who we had in the semi-final draw. Villarreal, who are 10th in La Liga. So once again, got to be a game that we look at and think we can win that. Left in the tournament, we've got Benfica, who we don't have the Portuguese league loaded, so we don't know how their season has gone other than in the Europa League. Dortmund, who are 3rd in the Bundesliga. We're 3rd in the Premier League. And Villarreal, who, as we've already seen, are having a poor season in La Liga. So it's likely to be a Leicester-Dortmund final, and then it's just going to come down to who's better, Premier League or Bundesliga. I guess we'll find that out very soon. Right, league game first, though, as we try and make sure we qualify for the Champions League even without needing the Europa League, and then we'll carry on with the semi-finals in tomorrow's video. Right, big pile of rotation for the Sheffield United game as we look to keep everybody fit for competing on 2 fronts before the end of the season. So Schmeichel stays in goal, but big changes at the back. It's now Emerson, Diakabi, Soyuncu and Mbabu. Phillips coming in at the base of the midfield. Aouar's coming in centre midfield to partner Tielemans. Maddison moving up to the left wing position. Everybody wants to see him playing. And Under coming in on the right-hand side. Edouard staying in up front as we just try and get a performance out of him. He'll be fine once he cheers up. I know how good Odsonne Edouard can be, but I also know how much of an impact a player being miserable has. And it's so frustrating that we've brought him in, had to promise him we'll strengthen with further attackers. I don't think he realises he's the only attacker, so I can't bring in another one. But it's upset him anyway, and it stopped him playing well. So now we've got in the situation where, because he's playing so poorly, if this carries on until the end of the season, we're actually going to have to, in the summer, look to bring in another attacker, but not to make him happy, to probably replace him and move him on, because it's just not working out. Tielemans to Under, Edouard now to Under again, Aouar, Tielemans, Mbabu getting forward on the right. Not had much of an opportunity yet, Mbabu, but certainly he is part of the long-term plans at right back, because he's a very attacking, very quick right back, which is what I like. And you can see what impact he can have on the game there. He gets the crossover to Aouar, and it's 1-0 with less than a minute on the clock. And this is all bodes very well towards our Champions League push. We actually had the inbox notification come through after the Atalanta game, confirming we'd broken our club record for consecutive victories in all competitions. Now, I don't know if that actually is a Leicester club record that we've broken, or if it's just one of those things because it's the first season, it gives you a random default amount and then decides when you've broken the thing. But either way, we've won a lot of games in a row now, and it's come at exactly the right time. We strengthened the team at the start of the year. We sprinkled in a little bit more strength in depth in January. It took a long time to get everyone to gel together and get the dynamics sorted in the squad. But now we've got, Edouard aside, a happy squad who are motivated, enjoying their football. We've got huge strength in depth. And as we're now starting to show with the results, it's a really strong side as well, which with the right additions over the next 18 months or so, genuinely think we could be winning the league within the 3 seasons target that we set ourselves at the start of the save, which is awesome. Maddison looking very dangerous on the left again. He's just chasing everything down. And he's doing the work of 2 men as Edouard isn't up for it. Diakabi then plays it forward to Emerson. Emerson getting forward for a cross again. And the cross does come over. It falls to Tielemans, who's mishit his shot. He's going to claim it's a pass, and I'm not going to argue with him about it. It looks like the ref has given it. Judge for yourselves from the other angle whether Tielemans is having a shot here. Oh, it's the same angle. Judge for yourselves whether Tielemans is having a shot or if it's a pass. I think mishit shot. He's absolutely going to claim perfect pass. And I think he's earned himself the opportunity to do that with the form that he's been in this year. So we're going to call that a perfect pass from Yuri Tielemans to put us 2-0 up. And that should put the game beyond doubt already. Sheffield United are not a very good side in FM21. And I would not expect to see them come back into the game from this point unless we do something spectacular and just self-combust. Sion-Chu playing it forward to Tielemans, who's dropped deep here, dropped back as deep as Calvin Phillips. Edouard's actually won a header. Under now on the right-hand side. Come on, just give Edouard an easy tap in. Let's start cheering him up a little bit. Tielemans, shot from range, and it is pushed over for the corner. And who is it who's taking our corner from over there? It is Under to take the corner. In swinger, Sion-Chu's there. He's hit the bottom of the post. Very close to putting us 3-0 up. And I think we've won ourselves another corner on the other side for our troubles. And it's going to be James Maddison to take this one. Also an in-swinger, also aimed at Sion-Chu, and also not resulting in a goal this time, going slightly over. We've now got a free kick in a dangerous position, which we mishit completely, and it's far too long. There's no one even on that far post. Bit of a waste of an opportunity, but the highlight has continued, which suggests something's coming from this for somebody. Mbabu forward to Under. Tielemans, Aouar, Maddison. We're knocking the ball around beautifully again. Phillips, Tielemans, Mbabu. But he's now giving the ball away, but Phillips just intercepts again. Tielemans, Edouard. Look at the state of this passing. This is FM21 stuff. You didn't get passing like this on FM20. Look at how we're keeping the ball. It's just constant one touch. And Babu's ruined it by taking a second touch there. But we're still just keeping possession of the ball, waiting for our opportunity. And then Tielemans picks his spot to put us 3-0 up. It had been a long time as part of that move since Sheffield United had touched the football. We were just utterly in control of every part of this. It's beautiful. We are playing beautiful football. I did not expect to have this Leicester team playing this well this season. If we'd have had this squad together at the start, and if we'd have got our dynamics pushed up at the start, I think we could have won the league this year. We're playing that well. But obviously, looking at the league table, Manchester City and Liverpool are still another level above the rest of the Premier League. So we are going to have a little bit of catching up to do to try and get up to their standards. But in fact, it's not City. It's Manchester United. What the hell are they doing top of the league? I just assume it's City and Liverpool, even though I know from previous episodes that City were having a terrible time. They actually sacked Pep Guardiola. I've not actually looked to see who took over as Manchester City manager. I'll try and remember to have a little look at that at the end of the game. But Guardiola got sacked. But whoever's gone in doesn't look like they've had much of an impact, because City down in the bottom half of the league. Under's done brilliantly there. But the ball ends up going wide. Let's have a little look now. Who's gone in as Manchester City manager? Brendan Rodgers is now Manchester City manager, and he's not exactly turned it around, has he? I think he's been in there a good couple of months now. Or certainly Guardiola was sacked not long after Christmas. So Rodgers has probably had it's April now. He's probably had at least 2 or 3 months. And for City to still be down in 12th, I wouldn't be at all surprised to see Brendan Rodgers fired at the end of the season as well for not being able to turn it around. With that Manchester City squad, anyone should be able to go in there and put a string of victories together. It is baffling that that's not happening under 2 successive managers. It shows what an impact the dynamics have, because I guess the squad are all miserable and probably most of them wanting to leave. Right, Maddison has picked up a knock, which is troublesome because he has been a key player for us in this run, and it would be far from ideal to have him unavailable for the semi-final. We're going to take Tielemans off as well just to protect him. We're actually going to... Why have I clicked set pieces again? Have these buttons moved around a little bit? And why does the set pieces take so long to load mid-match? Right, we're going to just swap those 2 over, and Didi can drop back there. Phillips can play alongside Aouar in central midfield. It's actually where Calvin Phillips wanted me to commit to playing him when he first signed. He wanted to be a centre mid, not a defensive midfielder. And I'm not really giving him that opportunity. I didn't make the promise to him. I learned from the mistake I made with Edouard before I made it, and then really, really wanted Edouard, so went back on my own policy of not making promises, and now we're learning why we don't make wild promises to players. It doesn't matter how good they are. If you make a promise and then don't keep it, they ain't playing very well. So probably would have been better off not signing him, or maybe waiting for the summer, waiting for another option to come up, rather than making a promise that I knew at the time I wasn't going to sign another striker. I knew he was the one I was bringing in, so I should never have promised to bring him in another one. I've learned nothing from my issues with the number 5 shirt in my stream save with Peterborough. If you don't know what's gone on there, that's why you should be watching the streams. We're streaming every night at the moment during the beta, and we have had some dynamics shenanigans in that version as well as all the Donnarumma stuff, which is just making me sad. Right, Phillips has given the ball away in midfield there quite cheaply. Luckily, we've already got the game won, but I'm not going to be too alarmed by how this second half has gone. But we haven't really done anything in the second half here. I know we've taken off a couple of key players, and we did drop the praise at half-time, which has the potential to lead to complacency. But that was a pretty poor second half. But importantly, we do pick up the win. Let's praise Tielemans because he did have a fantastic first half, at least. Man United watching Maddison, which I think that's a fairly typical FM transfer this year. So we might have to brace ourselves for losing James Maddison in the summer as club reputation comes into play. Jamie Vardy's about to lose his top scorer position as well because he's not going to play again this year. He's got probably not. He might be back for the Europa League final if we get there. 2 to 4 weeks out still for Jamie Vardy, but his attributes are dropping, especially his physical ones. So I don't know if it's going to be the same Jamie Vardy that returns. And we have got Liverpool coming up in our next league game with the team directly above us. Normally, I would show you that, but with the Europa League run in as well, I think what we'll actually do... In fact, there you go. We play Liverpool twice in this run in. So we'll do that one. We'll show you Villarreal in the second leg, and we'll show you Liverpool away. And then you still get to see Liverpool, and you still get to see the Europa League semi-final. And hopefully, by this time tomorrow, we'll be booking a spot in the Europa League final and securing our spot in the Champions League. That would be awesome. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.